Good morning, folks, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Kenny. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny Sunday here. It's very early, just about sunrise. Today we want to talk to you a little bit about actually show you and talk to you a little bit about how to keep bugs off of your potatoes. So you hang around and we're going to show you our potatoes and talk a little bit, okay? Right here is our potato patch, if you will. These potatoes are almost grown, and I think I showed them briefly in another video, but as you can see, they are beginning to bloom. They're beginning to bloom. These are organic Kennebec, and they suffered a tremendous setback back when they were beginning to grow. We had a tremendous cold spat, as everybody knows. There was killer frost back to back, about a half a dozen, and these potatoes, they took it all in, and the vines were just literally burnt. Well, they were burnt really bad. There's about 50 pound in this patch. We only grow about that much. I've got a large family, but we don't eat a tremendous amount of potatoes. These are planted in rows. They're about 26, 28 inches wide. I plant them that way, and I've done that practice all of my life, planting potatoes. They usually do better. And I want to say to you as well, I always plant my seeds from the previous year. I always do that. I plant my seeds from the previous year. And I plant the whole potato. I don't cut them. I think they do better that way if you don't cut them. They tend to yield a better crop when you don't cut the potato. And you want to make sure too that you let the eyes be visible before you plant them. That way you can tell pretty much a healthy seed by looking at the eyes, and I usually do that. And I plant my potatoes in the row about 10 inches apart. They've got to have a little space because if you're going to have a good yield, you have got to have a little space with them, because they, like everything else, they need a little growing room. And a lot of people ask me, and I've had people say, how do you control bugs on your potatoes? How do you do it? Really, there's not a whole lot to it, but I believe that rotating your crop is really the key to containing bugs. Don't plant your potatoes in the same spot every year. Because let me tell you, those bugs that usually come up and start to devour your potatoes in early spring, they don't fly in from another location. They come up out of the ground. That's right. They come up out of the ground, and when they first come out of hibernation, from the winter. Keep in mind that they're in your soil. And when they come up, they are super hungry. And they say to each other, I'm sure, in bug language, hey guys, this guy planted his potatoes in the same spot and we're all hungry, so let's just devour these potatoes. And that's what they do. It's not a secret, but I believe planting your potatoes in a different spot every year will be one of the ways that you can control your bugs. Because when that bug comes up out of the ground, he's hungry. And if you plant them in another spot, chances are they may not be there. May not be there because, well, you didn't plant your potatoes there last year. And so you might have a good chance of avoiding a lot of bugs by doing that. And another thing too, I find that will help to keep bugs at bay is to have organic soil. Organic soil with a lot of horse manure in that soil. Now, everybody knows that horse manure stinks. It stinks. When it's rotting, it begins to stink a little less. But if you blend that horse manure in your soil, usually the best time to do it, if you don't put it in your compost, which I do, I do that. But if you don't put it in your compost, late in the fall, say like maybe mid-October or November, it's a good time to blend that soil, or in this case, the way I do it, I put it on top of the ground in the fall, and I till it in the spring. And that organic soil is rich with that horse manure, and it stinks. And bugs are like, a lot of bugs are a lot like we are sometimes. If it smells bad, we leave it alone. Well, I think this is one of the keys to keeping your bugs away, is having a lot of organic horse manure in your soil. And of course, other things, organic matter. And that's another video altogether. But the stink of the horse manure, I believe, helps to keep bugs at bay. Because they don't like that nasty odor. Although some of them tolerate it, I guess, to a degree. But I believe that a lot of them will absolutely avoid a place where there's a lot of horse manure. And these potatoes are blooming, and that's how I grow potatoes. This is how I grow potatoes, and I am really surprised at these to see that they have turned out fairly well, fairly good. There's about 50 pounds planted here, 50 pounds, considering what they went through with all of the frost and the freeze that we had. But they have bounced back, and they are doing great. But I wanted to share that with you and let you see these potatoes and show you and talk to you about how a good way to avoid bugs. Now, I do have, I would be lying to you if I told you I didn't have bug problems. But I do have a few bugs, but they are very few. Very few. Every gardener has bugs, and if you tell me you don't have bugs, chances are you're stretching the truth just a little bit. We all gardeners have bugs. All gardeners have different ways of controlling bugs, but we all have them. But doing this method that I have just told you is really a good method to control bugs. It really is a good method to control bugs. I've used it and I've practiced it, and I know it works. So let me give you one final look at this potato patch. Try this method, if you will, if you don't currently do it, of growing your potatoes. And I'm sure that you'll find results just like I have. So we hope you've enjoyed this little potato tour. So you have a wonderful, blessed day. We'll talk to you later.